It's officially day one at D23. We are standing in line waiting to go into the auditorium for our first presentation at 9 a.m.
Into the magic words. Bibbidi, bobbidi.
Well, it's Jen and Mike from the future. It's been a couple days since our D23 day one with the panel, so we figured we'd sit down and talk about it and let you know what our thoughts are in terms of the future expansion of Disney World. So I guess we can start from the early morning, which was the park expansion experiences. Started out with Josh Damaro giving us a nice little opening salvo to the festival, I suppose. What do you think, Mike?
It was good to hear kind of about all the places and things that they were going to open that I will probably maybe see once in my life. So I wasn't too excited about that. I was more interested with the stuff that they were going to do locally here in Disney World. I'm really excited for the Tropical Americas expansion. Blue Sky kind of right now, they're not really committing one way or the other, but I really hope they do that because I think it's an area that doesn't really have a lot of representation here at Disney, and I'm really excited. I'm interested personally in that area of the world, so I'm really excited about that. That would be the one, yeah.
Yeah, I personally thought the parks news were not earth-shattering, especially since, Blue Sky, that is, anything can happen. Obviously, Disney World will do something, and that's essentially the message, right? They didn't give you a lot of specifics. It's just kind of like, we're going to do stuff with this park. We have a lot of land. That was basically the message. And so if you're a D23 person, you're expecting some, crazy, amazing news to drop, but that
I wasn't expecting much, to be honest. Yeah. It was just kind of like, obviously most of us there were from, the U.S. They had, I think, 10 or 11 other countries, 30 to 40 countries or something like that. But it wasn't, the majority of the stuff that's going to impact us on a regular basis is the U.S. park, so that's what you're interested. I was happy to hear that they're expanding the cruise line. We're going to try our first cruise coming up, so I was a little interested in that. It was good. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, so the major announcements were obviously they're going to be possibly retheming Dinoland USA into Encanto. They may be reskinning Dinosaur into Indiana Jones, which already exists in Disneyland. So
there was strong suggestions, which I think everybody saw in the stream, of Encanto and Indy coming to Animal Kingdom. Some people are not too crazy about that. I'm rather indifferent, but...
Yeah. And then, of course, they announced a couple of meets and greets. Obviously, we already know that Figment is already meeting and greeting in Epcot. We got a sneak preview of it during the evening festivities. So, yeah, it wasn't... I think they've really focused on the international parks, which I think the world of Frozen in Hong Kong Disneyland, the footage that they've shown you, it is absolutely gorgeous, especially at night.
I think the Hong Kong Disneyland was the big reveal with the Frozen Land. That was kind of the big thing.
And if you're looking for Zootopia, that is going to Shanghai Disneyland. So.
Yeah, which that's most likely probably the first international park we're going to visit. Is probably going to be end up Shanghai or Tokyo probably. And so that I was excited about that. I don't know if they're bringing Zootopia then to Animal Kingdom. I think that's going to be a Shanghai exclusive for now.
Yeah, they did mention that they are going to be replacing A Bug's Life in the Tree of Life in Animal Kingdom with a new show that's more Zootopia focused. The Bug's Life is pretty antiquated, the technology and the storyline, and
it's still great for a scare though. I love it.
I don't.
It creeps people out. I would be sad to see it go. I really like it.
As an adult, I'm just like.
Oh, you hate it because of the creepy crawlies, but
I do not like it.
I like to go watch other people's reactions, so I actually really enjoy that experience.
Yes, replacing scary bugs with fuzzy, cute animals. Yes. I'm here for it. I'm sad about that.
I also like Zootopia, so it'd be a win-win for me.
And then after the parks and expansion, they talked about the early years. That was actually really fun to learn a little bit more about the history, Walt's partnership with iWorks, that they brought in his granddaughter.
She's a documentarian author. She was really interesting. She's Ubi's granddaughter, right? Yeah. Really knowledgeable. Seems really kind of a neat person. And it was kind of neat. I didn't know about Ubi. I had never learned about him. And he was the one that helped Walt decide on Walt or Walter At one point, Walt
Yeah.
was trying to decide what he wanted to go by.
Yeah.
And apparently Ubi's first name is longer too. And he said, I like Walt, and if you go with Walt, I'm going to shorten my name to Ubi. So that was the deal. So Walt went with Walt, and Ubi is now Ubi. He's one of his original animator friends
Yep.
from Kansas City, Missouri.
Yep.
And then he was one of the first ones that Walt was like, come to Hollywood, help me please. So
That's how he got
that's how
started.
so that's how the kind of the friendship continued from Kansas City to here. And obviously the families are still kind of intertwined to this day.
And then I think the next one up was
100 Years Unforgettable
Oh yeah.
Stories.
Okay, that one, the 100-year Unforgettable Stories, is probably one of my favorites. So they brought out Jodi Benson, original voice of the Little Mermaid, and that is absolutely one of my favorites.
Everybody lost it.
So Jodi did a thing and with another Disney legend, and they kind of talked about their career, how he got started, and of course they brought out Ashley Eckstein, who is the voice of Ahsoka. They also introduced the voice of Miguel from Coco, and then the really cool thing is they had the official voices of Mickey and Minnie Mouse on stage.
Goofy.
And Goofy, yes.
And
They
Goofy.
did a really, really interesting kind of backstage story about how they warm up their voices and all that stuff. And then what they did was they brought out all the voice actors out and they did a table read. So I'm going to pop in a little bit of the excerpt from the table read. It was actually pretty hilarious.
Bret, you take it away.
Okay, well, speaking of train wrecks, here we go.
Get ready.
Welcome aboard the Walt Disney World Railroad. Your hands, arms, feet, and legs well inside the train. Or, as my pal Miguel likes to say,
Por favor, manténganse alejados de las puertas.
Yeehaw! We have reached the wilderness of Frontierland, home of Lester's Possum Park and those lovable country bears. Take it away, Buff, Max, and Melvin.
Hey, Henry, what's holding you up? Let's get on with the show. Well, now, Buff, be patient.
yeah, we ain't going anywhere anyhow.
Whenever candlelights flicker where the air is deathly still, that is the time when ghosts are present, practicing their terror with ghoulish delight. Oh, my dear, I sound divine. But now I wonder, how would Madame Mim sound as this spectacular spectre? Welcome, foolish mortals, to the Haunted Mansion. I am your host, your ghost host. Kindly step all the way in, please, and make room for everyone. There's no turning back now.
Let's see if our interstellar explorers can bond with a banshee at Avatar Flight of Passage.
Can anyone see me? Great. Welcome to the Avatar program. You're going to have the chance to undertake an amazing Na'vi rite of passage.
The Hollywood Tower Hotel was a star in its own right.
A beacon for the show business elite. Now, something is about to happen that will change all that.
The time is now, on an evening very much like the one we have just witnessed. Dun dun dun!
Dun-dun-dun.
Let's lighten things up for a quick stop and mumble that Muppet mumble.
You can do it, it's okay.
I can rewrite everything I want.
You can do whatever you want.
I call it mumble, you call it Muppet, whatever.
Hold on to your wallets and purse, folks. This doesn't look like a very good neighborhood. In fact, it looks like the underworld, the scene of a classic gangster film, including some starring one of my favorite tough guys, James Cagney.
They must pay with their voice.
You got to see
Oh my gosh.
some of the voice actors really show off
Top-notch voice
some of their
actors at work.
ranges and stuff like, and it was all an impromptu. They had never seen the script before, so they had no chance to prep. So there was mistakes were made, but there was ad-libbing going on. It was wonderful. So I always love watching voice actors do their thing. So I really enjoyed it.
So does that wrap up the morning?
That was the morning.
Okay,
yeah.
okay.
So the next one was they basically had one of the documentary filmmakers that was responsible for being involved with James Cameron with the whales shorts on Disney Plus, which if you haven't seen them, they're all really good. I really enjoy them. They did a new one, which was Secrets of Whales, and I think it focuses on sperm whales.
Yeah.
And they showed us some really great footage from the upcoming Disney Plus documentary that's coming out about it.
Those are really highly intelligent, amazing animals.
Yeah, but he basically, the highlight of the entire event, he talks about getting a chance to dive with a basically brand new calf sperm whale, and kind of just getting this. They got some footage. Up until recently, they had never known how exactly they fed. Because the infants are mammals, they need to get food from their mom, and nobody could figure out how it worked. And they actually managed to catch it on film. So it was a really neat thing. As somebody that's interested in nature and animals, I really got to enjoy seeing that. That was really fascinating for me. So the next one was the Disney Cruise Line update, and if you've seen the documentary on Disney Plus about the new ships, there was nothing new. There was no new information there.
Well, they did announce a new name for the newest ship.
The Treasure.
The Adventure.
No, the Treasure.
The Treasure is the new ship, but then they announced the building of the new ship, which is the Adventure.
Okay, yeah.
So that is the big news for Disney Cruise Line. The name drop.
I mean, it's pretty impressive where they build them. They build them in Germany. They're basically built indoors in a gigantic building, and it was kind of fun to watch a time lapse of how they put the ship together.
Yeah.
Then we had our afternoon break, and then we came back to probably what was a lot of people's favorite, which was the Marvel update.
I was very disappointed. So.
Okay.
I was expecting like the MCU announcements and some major news to drop, but I think it was more just a comic. They brought in the chief creative officer of Marvel Comics, I think.
Yeah, talked about some new toys that they collaborated on with Hasbro. They did they gave away some comics. They talked about some of the comic lore and things like that. So I think if you're a little bit more if you're a little bit more deep into the comic books of Marvel, there was some more in there for you.
They showed us this new figurine for Hank Pym, this like gigantic man or something, and a couple of people from the audience won an action figure, so that was pretty much that. That rolled into 100 years of innovation, magic in every medium. They had the illusion team, they had the lighting team, and a production design team.
Oh, yeah.
So they kind of talked about how these things kind of come together, how each teams are assigned a role and a part in building an attraction and how things come together. Mm-hmm. They showed a clip of Tokyo Disneyland where it was the Beauty and the Beast transformation scene where it's pretty neat. Obviously, we've never experienced it in person, but it's fascinating how, they, through the magic of lighting and illusion and just like production design, they were able to really showcase the Beast transforming back into a prince, which is pretty exciting.
No joke, I thought it was real magic because it looks that good.
Yeah.
At least on screen, and I'm assuming in person, that it literally looks like he's transforming.
So we definitely look forward to going to Tokyo Disneyland at some point, or Tokyo Disney Sea at some point in our lives.
Just like Rise of the Resistance made me want to do Star Cruiser, seeing that transformation and that ride alone made me go, okay, I think I have to make a trip to Tokyo Disneyland to see it in person. But he's one of the head illusion Imagineers, and he's also the one that's responsible for the Hatbox Ghost.
Oh yeah, they also dropped the fact that Hatbox Ghost will be here in Disney World in later this year. I feel like November.
It's already in Disneyland if you're there. So, but it'll be nice for all of those that can't make the trip out there to come here and see it. So.
And then the day concluded with the EPCOT and Beyond or Forever EPCOT, and that was interesting. They kind of talked about the history of EPCOT. Yeah, they had the original Walt footage and where it would be, and yeah, it was interesting.
So one of the interesting things that they showed about that, like a deep cut, was apparently they had the World Showcase area set out.
Oh yeah, that's right.
And then they had the Tomorrowland area set out. And they weren't quite sure how they were going to make them go together. They were two separate models. And one night they decided that let's just push the two models together. And that's pretty much how the park overall layout came to be today. They talked about the updates for, Moana Journey of Water. Yep. We were going there that night, so they announced that they were going to let us check out Moana Journey of Water early, which was really good. And then they talked about some of this other stuff going on. And Epcot's kind of polarizing right now. Some people like the IP, some people don't.
Yeah.
So it was it was actually kind of, I think everybody loves Epcot.
Yeah.
Just there's not a bunch, there's a little bit of kind of, some people would like it to go more one way, some people are fine with the way it's going now.
Yeah.
So I think honestly in the crowd it felt like the most kind of
polarizing,
lukewarm, kind of mixed impressions on that.
And then they did announce that the newest nighttime spectacular, Luminous, is coming to replace Epcot Forever more permanently, if you will. Of course, those of us who are Harmonious fans are kind of sad that went away after just 1 year. And then Epcot Forever is sort of the interim show between the two shows, and they announced that Luminous will be coming to Epcot in about a month. And then the other big thing is obviously the Figment meet and greet.
Yeah, that was the immediate crowd pleaser. As soon as, didn't matter which way you thought Epcot was going, as soon as they announced the Figment meet and greet, everybody lost their stuff.
Yeah.
So that's good.
And then finally, the other news, the big news, is that Test Track is getting a retheme again.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yep.
So yeah, they're working with Chevrolet to retheme. I mean, Test Track has gone through a couple of different iterations.
I miss my test crash dummies.
Yeah, so we don't know what it's going to be, but that is confirmed to have been in the works. So that pretty much concludes a day in terms of the panels, right?
Yep.
Well, we really hope that you enjoyed our little quick recap and review of day one, the panels at D23. Please hit that like button and be sure to hit the notification bell so you don't miss our upcoming content. Please subscribe to our channel to help grow our community together. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you soon.